Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Principal Murad. You stole every single part of my speech, but that's what leaders are about. We resonate and we talk very similar at a very high level. So thank you, Ali. Well, good afternoon, family, friends, old boys, alumni, staff and students. Welcome back to Tech after a few years. It's really, really great to see you all here. As I spoke at my very first speech, that Tech isn't Tech without students being here, staff, old boys. So important to have support from you. I'd like to warmly welcome our special guest presenters today. Thank you for taking your time to come back to Tech. Thank you to members of the Alumni Old Boys Union and members of the Sydney Tech P&C Committee. Can I start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land where we meet today, the Gadigal people. Their land will always be theirs. I'd like to pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. Today, as Ali said, is a very special date in the Tech calendar. Our presentation day or speech day is the pinnacle assembly. And I too pondered on that thought about why it was important and reflected on the high significance of today. We are one of the finest selective boys' schools there. We pride ourselves on achieving the best that we possibly can. And today is our chance to celebrate that. But not only do we celebrate academics, but we celebrate sporting achievements, the creative and performing arts, and any extra or co-curricular activities. I'd like for everybody out there to consider a quote. A very famous man called Albert Einstein, he said, "The important thing is to never stop questioning." What if you are highly intelligent and gifted and you decided that there's no need to keep up? The status quo is good enough. There's no need to make any change. You don't need to create or innovate. Or you start to fear failure. What would happen to us at Tech? What would happen to us in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, and indeed the world? What would have happened to us in the last pandemic years if we weren't able to develop, create, test and release a vaccine within 12 months? Previously unheard of. And did you know that one of our old boys was directly responsible for leading the development of one of the key vaccines, AstraZeneca vaccine? I can tell you a bit of a secret. He will be back in Sydney next term and he's going to come along to talk to us at Tech. You might want to Google his name. It's Dr. Adam Ritchie from Oxford University. And he's going to challenge your thoughts and inspire you. So stay tuned for our next assembly. I'd like to acknowledge Year 12 2021. And like Ali said, your Tech brothers were examples of being able to be triumphant in the face of many, many changes. They had to endure a whole term of lockdown before the HSC examinations. And although the HSC was dragged from pillar to post, they succeeded. And they all successfully made it to the tertiary education. Imagine for a second what they had to endure. Last minute changes to assessment, cancelled trials, limited access to the school, limited access to their teachers, limited access to their resources. Yet, their overall results compared to previous years had improved significantly. Our school results last year were able to be much improved compared to other selectives out there. They should be very proud. So well done to those boys and well done to Tech staff. Other examples of success are our highly successful old boys, especially those who have been inducted into the Sydney Tech Hall of Fame. Each of those boys are leaders in their field. I can proudly say that their field ranges across many facets of society: art, music, acting, aeronautics, defence, engineering, teaching, science, medicine and research. Sydney Tech community, please remind yourselves to never stop striving and to never stop questioning. Continue to do your best. Congratulations to all the award recipients and the Hall of Fame inductees, and enjoy Presentation Day 2022.
I would like to invite Mr. Mousakis to present our past alumni with their recognition awards.
Good afternoon, Sydney Tech community. I would like to welcome you to the 2022 Sam Dando Hall of Fame inductions. The Hall of Fame showcases old boys who have reached pinnacles in their fields. Boys, stroll down the corridor, read about their magnificent achievements, follow in their footsteps, chase greatness. You are standing in the same building that has shaped these giants.
I would like to call upon Messrs. Imans Tellers, Warren Daly and Les Gock to receive their award. Imans Tillers, 1963 to 1968, graduated from the University of Sydney with a Bachelor of Science in Architecture honours and the University Medal in 1973. Mr. Tillers has exhibited widely since the late 1960s and has represented Australia in important international exhibitions, such as the Sao Paulo Biennale in 1975, Documenta 7 in 1982, and the 42nd Venice Biennale in 1986. As one of Australia's most significant artists, Mr. Tillers has been at the forefront of contemporary art for over 3 decades. Since 1981, Mr. Tillers has used his signature canvas boards to explore themes relevant to contemporary culture from the centre and periphery debates of the 1980s to the effects of migration, displacement and diaspora. Most recently, his paintings have been concerned with place, locality and evocations of the landscape. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Tillers. Mr. Warren Daly. Mr. Warren Daly in 1956 and 1959 became a drummer, band leader in earliest rock and roll bands in Australia, Ramblers, Steeds, and then on to jazz, big bands and television orchestras from 1961 to 1967. He formed the Daly Wilson Big Band in 1969, the only big band in Australia's history to gain international recognition by peers and public alike. The band toured to sold-out venues in Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, the USSR, Latvia, Lithuania, Indonesia, and USA, and gained 2 gold records, 2 Mo Awards, 8 national and international TV specials. Please give a round of applause. And of course, Mr. Les Gock, graduated in 1971. Les has a career in film and television soundtracks which began in 1971. His time as a writer, co-producer and guitarist in the Australia rock group Hush during the mid-70s earned him 12 gold records. He has won every major award for music excellence, including Gold Clios, Fax Awards, New York International Advertising Festival Awards, and many more. He is the Managing Director of Song Zoo Records and Management. His reputation as a successful entrepreneur and businessman has been demonstrated through the ongoing development of Singzoo and their client base in New Zealand, Southeast Asia, Britain, and the USA. In 2003, Mr. Lesgok is the chairman of the Commercial Music Producers Association. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Lesgok. I would also like to invite Mr. Lesgok for an occasional address.
Thank you. And to say that I'm honoured to be here is an understatement, and to be honoured to share the stage with Imants and Warren is truly humbling. Just before we came here, we went down the Hall of Fame, and it was very pleasing to see that there was at least two people from my year in that Hall of Fame. So I think we're above our numbers that should be in the Hall of Fame. Now this is interesting. This is something that last was seen here at Sydney Tech, and it's called the Hume-Barber Debating Prize. And that was the last time in 1971 that Sydney Tech had won the Hume-Barber Debating Prize. And myself and one of the other Hall of Famers, Alan Glanville, were two members of the team that won. And the Hume-Barber is, the top debating prize for schools in the state. I commend you, all of you, to now pick up that mantle and start debating. I've had a look at the last few years, and they're all just North Sydney boys and Sydney boys. You can beat those guys, right? Now you've got it in you. So I expect to have that prize come back. What I'd like to try and explain to you is a little bit about a bit about my time here at Tech, what it was like, and also about my career afterwards and how that interrelates with my years at Tech. In 1966, I arrived at these grounds in this school, and it really doesn't look a lot different to what it did back then. It was intimidating, that's what it was when I walked in, because I came from Penshurst Public School, which is a tiny little public school down the road, and I was dux at that school, but it was a very tiny school. When I first started taking the first few classes here, it was incredibly intimidating. The boys who were here were very, very smart, and they were very, very capable. And what was interesting about selective schools back in the 1960s, which I didn't realise at the time, was that the view was that selective schools were to help gifted children who might not have had the wherewithal, the capacity to receive the kind of education that they should have. Their families might not have had the money to send them off, and certainly in those days you were expected to go out and work straight away to earn a living. In my case, my parents were refugees from China after the invasion of the Japanese, and like most refugees at the time, they came here with absolutely nothing, but they were able to have, they had a little fruit shop in Penshurst, and we lived above the fruit shop in very modest accommodation. And so what was interesting was that from that background, and certainly because, you know, my parents were migrants, I had never met anyone who was tertiary educated. I'd never met an engineer, I'd never met a lawyer, I'd never met an architect. However, I did have a doctor and I did have a dentist. And one thing I did know from my school years was that I was not going to be a doctor or a dentist. They didn't look very appealing jobs at all. So in my years here, all I knew was that if I was going to survive academically, there was only one road, and that was to work harder than everyone else. So what I did was I picked up the smartest kids in our year, and I thought, okay, they're the ones to beat. Now it's very simple. All I have to do is work twice as hard as them, which is what I did. And I suppose the message there is that you're here partly because you're very gifted. You were born with the right genes. But really, that's not enough. Working incredibly hard then gives you a ticket into the game of success in life. So I worked twice as hard as anyone I could think of, and it allowed me to end up in the academic group every year. That is the top 4 boys. There were 2 boys that I just could not beat, but you know, one was a professor of medicine, and one ended up as a professor of pure mathematics. So it's not too bad. So through my years, we ended up, and we even got on the debating team, and we won the Hume Barber, which was fantastic. And through those years, it was very different to the way it is today. You have a very broad choice of subjects that you can choose from. In my day, it was very different. You had to do English, maths, science, and then you had a choice of, exotica, such as Latin, French. In my case, I chose the exotic economics, which is really at the forefront. And in order to succeed, what I realised, as you do, is there's a game to play. And the game is to gather as many marks as you possibly can, because you're capable. So what you do is you go to do the highest order of mathematics, highest order of science, highest order of English and so forth. Gather as many marks as you could, and then somehow that's meant to be a good thing, right? Now, the only thing was that the 2 areas that I was most passionate about privately was music, not proper music like Warren plays or these boys play, but rock and roll. And also, I loved art. Now, had I have chosen those subjects in those days, they were downgraded. You get a lower percentage of marks. And also, it's not possible to get 100% in art or music. And my job was to chase marks. So I didn't follow where my passions were, because I was capable and I was gifted. I was able to do well in kind of anything, really. Not quite as well as our professor of pure mathematics, but still, I was capable enough to gather very high marks, and in the end, I won a Commonwealth scholarship, which was a scholarship to go to university, and then you didn't have to pay fees and so forth. But what I didn't know by the time I had graduated from here, even with top honours, what I was going to do with my life. Because I knew I didn't want to be a doctor, I knew I didn't want to be a dentist, and I never met anyone else in a field that I could look to and say, I would love to do that job. So I turned to television. The only indication of what jobs were available was watching TV, and there was a television show called Perry Mason, which was about a lawyer, and I thought, well, we just won the debating prize. I've watched this television show called Perry Mason, which is about a lawyer. Maybe I'll do law. I was able to go to Sydney University to do medicine and so forth, but I chose law. Well, that's what I did. I went into law, but thank goodness, by pure accident, whilst I was playing music with some friends, I ended up joining a band who were just starting out, and within 6 months of joining the band, somebody said, oh, you need to write your own music. And I was the guitar player, so everyone just looked to me, and I said, okay, well, I'll try and write a song then, I guess. And so we wrote a song, and somehow it got recorded, it was released and became top 10. And that took me out of law and back into something that I was absolutely passionate about. I don't know what our next frame is. Oh, yeah, okay. So 18 months after I left Sydney Tech, this is me on the left. Now that's 20,000 people, 20 plus. Does anyone recognise where that is? Well, you should. That's Sydney University. That's Victoria Park in front of Sydney University, and ground with 20,000 people. So that was the beginning of our career. Our contemporaries included a lot of people that you haven't heard of, but the one band that you may have heard of that started out around the same time as us was AC/DC. And we used to rehearse in the same place, just around here, down at Cronulla and so forth. And I'm proud to say that I have many shows that we've done like this, and AC/DC were always on the undercard. However, they did go on and do it. What's the next slide? Oh, there. That was me pretty much after I left school. You weren't allowed to have long hair, but we secretly grew our hair. And over here, that's sort of more me now. And I just play these days just for fun, and it is a lot of fun, it still is. And the next slide. Oh yeah, I'll just show you. So years and years of tech, years of receiving awards and stuff, we end up doing this. In the audience. Fantastic. Okay, that's good. So that's the kind of, I think I'm up here really just to address you and convince you to all join rock and roll bands. And end up, no, what is the relationship between all of this and tech? And my years coming up here and receiving awards. And what it is, and Ali had spoken to it in the sense of being a whole student when you came out, is that what hopefully you'll be doing here is not just memorizing, walking, being an a version of Google when you walk out of here. What hopefully tech will teach you, and particularly because you start off as gifted kids, it'll teach you how to think and teach you how to apply that thinking to the rest of your life. Whether you end up being an artist, a musician, a doctor, a professor of pure mathematics, whatever it is, you at this school come here with the ability to do anything that you want, anything that is your passion, and become successful. All you have to do is find that passion, apply your gifts, and work twice as hard as anyone else, and you'll get there. I finished my years with the band, and then I started a company called Songzoo, and this is an example of the kind of work that we did. You may remember this. So, gentlemen, I commend you to find whatever it is that you are most passionate about, and then be comfortable in the thought that you will be able to succeed at that. And like me, I've had a very, very enjoyable career doing what I absolutely love. But perhaps I would have had a great career in law, I don't know, but I'm happy with the one I've had. I'm very pleased that and proud to be up here to address you today, along with Im Anson-Wang and all the other inductees from this fabulous school. Thank you and good luck, gentlemen.
I would now like to call upon Mr. Francis Su, the Sydney Tech School Captain of 2008, and Miss Helena Wang from the PNC, as well as Manil Naqvi Prefect, to help deliver the Year 7 awards.
Thank you, Giann. I will now present the Year 7 Sports Awards. Please, hold your applause until the end. Ryan Khan, STHS 13th Year Athletics Runner-Up, Year 7 Academic Prize. Yu Lin, STHS 12 years cross-country age champion and Year 7 academic prize. Vincent Lloyd, STHS 13 years cross-country age runner-up. Ho Yin Ng, STHS 12 years athletics age champion. Joel Park, STHS 12 years cross-country age runner-up and Year 7 academic prize. Boron Saha, STHS 12 years athletics runner-up. Andrew Young, STHS 12 years swimming age runner-up. Congratulations to these boys. I will now present the Year 7 academic awards. The following boys are all receiving a Year 7 academic prize. Cooper Beck, Aditya Chauhan, Darren Chen, Ray Chen, Jaden Chu, Melbourne Early, Zachariah Gur, Saad Imam, Baha Kim, Jim Lee, Han Lin, Lockie Murray, Shihab Rahman, Darren Sarath Chandra, Adrian Sexton, Eric Tang, Adrian Sharafi, Terrence Tran, Sri Shahishnu Varanasi, and Arya Deval. Congratulations to these boys. Mohammed Rashid will now present the Year 8 awards.
Can I please call Mr. Lesbov up to the stage to present the awards? Please hold your applause until the end of each award. Jeff Wood will be receiving the St. George Zone Under 14 Years Swimming Champion, STHS Under 14 Years Age Swimming Champion, and STHS Under 14 Years Age Cross Country Runner-up. The following boys have received the Year 8 academic prize of the academic awards. Ariza Anwar, Ethan Bastian, Aditya Patel, William Burden, Benson Chen, Kerry Peak, Ali Hamad, Edward Heath, Daniel Drew, Nitin Karthik, Jack Lee, Brian Luke, who has also received the Premier's Reading Challenge Gold Award, Yusuf Mahdi, Aaron May, Swapnil Mondal, James Ewan, Gabriel Cantos, Shadi Serafi, Tony G, Daniel Yang, and Makuri Yu. Please give a round of applause for the academic award. I will now be announcing the special awards. Adam Ajami, who will be receiving the Year 8 Encouragement Scholarship and the Year 8 Academic Prize. Frank Lim, who will be receiving the Ryan Mann Memorial Prize for contribution to junior music, the Year 8 Academic Prize, and the Premier's Reading Challenge Gold Award. Who will be receiving the Year 8 Mathematics Encouragement Scholarship, the Year 8 Academic Prize, and the Premier's Reading Challenge Platinum Award. Thank you, Mr. Lebov, for presenting the Year 8 awards. I would now like to announce the musical item by the STHS concert band conducted by David Bell, playing Never Gonna Give You Up by composers M. Stock, M. Aiken, and P. Waterman. Thank you.
concert band for that wonderful performance. I'm Aditya, and I'll be announcing the Year 9 Sports and Year 9 Special Awards. Could I please ask Mr. Warren Daly to present these awards? Please hold your applause until the end. Giann Cameron Gleason, STHS 15 years swimming age champion. And STHS 15 years athletics runner-up. Chris Chavda, St. George 15 years cross-country age champion, STHS 15 years cross-country age champion, and STHS 15 years athletics age champion. Shinrei Chen, STHS 14 years athletics age champion. Jay Naidu, St. George Zone 14 years cross-country age champion, STHS 14 years swimming runner-up, STHS 14 years cross-country age champion, and STHS 14 years athletics runner-up. Hayden Van, STHS 15 years cross-country runner-up. And now on to the special awards. Ezekai Okoli, STHS Old Boys Union Award for Junior Citizenship. Dane Cito, STHS Old Boys Union Year 9 Award for Most Improved Instrumentalist and Music Prize. Could you all give the boys a round of applause? I would now like to invite Mr. Emmons Tillers to present the Year 9 Academic Awards. I'll pass it on to you guys.
Thank you, Aditya. Could everyone please hold their applause until the end? Taha Chala, receiving the Premier's Reading Challenge Medallion. Aiden Chan, Information and Software Technology. Andrew Chan, Industrial Technology Engineering and PDHP. Koshi Cherian, Physical Activity and Sports Studies. Lachlan Choi, Industrial Technology Electronics. Ethan Goff, Commerce and Japanese. Suhash Kabir, Mathematics. Min Sok Kwon, Visual Arts. Haran Mok, Industrial Technology Graphics. Brandon Park, Premier's Reading Challenge Medallion. Henry Sevilla, World History. Sukrit Tiwari, Science and Geography. Adrian Tu, Premier's Reading Challenge Medallion. Sean Van Emerson, Information Processes and Technology Accelerated to 11 English. Marcus Young from Thomas Zulatar, Premier's Reading Challenge. Please give a big round of applause to Ethan. Last but not least, receiving award for Japanese and the Ducks of Year 9. Please give a big round of applause to Ethan Hendrock. Thank you, Mr. Iman Tyler's, for presenting the Year 9 awards. This concludes 2021 junior presentation. I'll now pass it on to Rian and Ali.
Fine.